you can see that the title of my discussion is going to be Digitizing Humans. And you must be thinking, there's a handshake like the one Rachel was talking about. You must be thinking, are we talking about changing our people to become robots? Or is it about moving completely digital? Actually, I'm talking about the marriage between all the marketing efforts that we're doing, the digital marketing, and how, if anybody has a sales team, and I'm sure a lot of you do, how many people have sales teams in their businesses? Yes. So how can you leverage and maximize the benefit that you're getting out of your sales team by leveraging the digital technology? So that's exactly what I'm going to talk about here. Okay, so let's take a look at everyday challenges. You probably know about the overwhelmed salesperson. He's got a lot of things that he has to deal with, existing clients he has to maintain the relationship, calls he has to make, meetings. He's usually not very organized, sometimes overwhelmed. And the major problem that we have is even if we have a CRM solution, they might not be updating it regularly. On the other hand, you have the frustrated manager. The frustrated manager could be probably sitting at his office, calling his sales guys, asking them, where are you? And his sales guy could say, well, I'm out making some meetings. And the manager would be, okay, so when you come back, just let me know what you've done. And that's the end of it. So the overwhelmed salesperson has to come back to the office at the end of the day and try to rack his brain. And remember, now he has to report to his manager and tell him everything that he's done throughout the day, right? So it's a difficult thing, especially when they are not very clear on their priorities. And there's the Harvard study that was done to look at the primary motivators for salespeople to perform their best. And they found that clarity of task was among the top-ranking reasons why salespeople are doing better. Right up there with incentives, with a good boss, with a good organization, is clarity of task. So how can you help those people? How can you help them? And also, how can you leverage the sales manager, whether it's yourself or team leaders, how can they track and guide their teams? It's not about monitoring, it's about guiding them. So, in most organizations, we go from our marketing efforts over here, and if there is a salesperson involved, that the leads go to that salesperson, usually this area is like a blind spot. All we know is once the deal is finally booked, that's where we know that there was a success. But what about this entire cycle that goes on in the middle? What about your relationship manager or salesperson? As they start to speak to your prospective clients, you want to know who they've spoken to, what they said, what was the next step, what is the deal pipeline like. This is critical for your business. And today, if you're not able to manage that, then you're losing a lot in terms of opportunities and potential growth. So how can you start to cover this blind spot? How can you do that? So most of us have CRM solutions, maybe. Some of us have spreadsheets. You have a list of your clients, and you request your sales guys to come back and make those updates at the end of the day. Is that right? Am I talking about day-to-day challenges? Maybe I'll refer to what Dr. Rashid said earlier. Do you guys need a break? I'll ask this question. So I think that these are everyday challenges that we face. So the solution that we've provided, and I'm not talking about our business specifically, but you need to leverage mobile technology to digitize those human relationships, the relationships that your sales teams are having with your clients. And why are we saying mobile? Because the mobile is always there with the sales guy or with the RM. There's no way of dodging it. He can't say, I forgot my iPad at home, I didn't charge my laptop. It's in the mobile. And all you have to do is call your clients from the mobile and then automatically track the time of the call, the duration of the call, the location of the call, what happened, what's next, and if there was a deal. And if all this can be done with a few simple taps, then this updating can actually be helpful for the salesperson rather than become a burden on them. It becomes like a personal assistant. And we've seen from actual experience that the users have engaged with the application because they want to remember what they told their clients. So we saw the users, and there's voice to text that you can have as well. Right after the call, he calls the client, hangs up, and then it will pop up for him what happened. And all he has to do is capture the main notes that were said during the conversation. And they actually do that because he would say, the client is currently traveling, the client is visiting his son in the US, and will get back to me in 1 week. There, it's just done. And we have seen very elaborate memos that are being written by the sales teams. Because the next time the RM calls the client, he's going to look at, oh, that's what we said last time. And next time he calls, he'll say, hey, sir, how was your trip? Congratulations to your son for his graduation. And you can imagine that in terms of customer experience, it's really enhanced. In terms of confidence for the salesperson, he's a lot more confident. And more than that, the sales manager in real time can have a view of what's going on in the field. Because that phone call was captured, and the sales manager is able to track it. But it's not about policing or monitoring your teams. It's about giving guidance. Because that sales manager, instead of sitting there helplessly at his desk, is now able to interact with the teams in real time. He can give them comments. He can say, good job, next time you meet this client, I'll be joining you, or by the way, this is a VI, or I can assign a task. I can also give discounts, for example, approve a special discount for that client, all in real time. So it's really game-changing when you move digital. So when we talk about digitizing your sales and relationship management, this is actually the first step, as I explained. You have to migrate all the client interactions that are happening from being manual to becoming digital. And once you've captured all that information digitally, then you're able to guide your teams. And just these two steps will guarantee that your sales productivity will go up, 100%. Now, in the longer term, when we say digitizing sales and relationship management, it's not just that part. There's more to it. There's a longer term value. You could think of integrating with other systems. If you remember the previous slide, this integration could happen between, if you have a core CRM or another core system, you can have that integration done. You can have an integration with the back office, and so that you can have a seamless end-to-end process flow. But you don't have to do that from day one. From day one, you can have that, the first two steps, which is capturing interactions and guiding the teams in real time. That will already be a leap forward. Now, the integration can come afterwards, and we always advise our clients that start with that first, and then see what fields do you want to integrate, how often do you want this integration to be. And these are usually longer projects. But you have to have that in mind. Then, once you integrate, you can also look at other initiatives within your organization, like big data, leverage big data. In banks that are using our application, what happens is they start to look at credit card behavior of their teams, of their clients. So this is outside the sales application. This is the big data initiative that they're looking at. And they started to see that if I have a client that's starting to visit baby shops, for example, then this client is most likely going to have a child soon, so he's eligible for an insurance product. So once I know that, I can give that client, pop him up to the phone of the salesperson, and all he has to do is tap to call and propose the right product to that client. So in the longer term, you're also starting to get intelligent client targeting from your experience. And it integrates with other initiatives within the organization. And the cycle goes on. And as Dr. Rashid was mentioning in the morning, the ultimate objective is to target the right customer at the right time, with the right product, and through the right representative. Because you're going to start to see if that customer is living in Sharjah and is an Arabic speaker, then I will allocate him to my RM, who is in Sharjah and who's also an Arabic speaker. So in that way, it's also a cycle, because you start to learn and you start to improve your ways and intelligently reach that ultimate goal. So when I say the productivity increases, from our actual experience, the numbers went up by at least 10% up to 30%, just by implementing this in a short few months. The numbers went up just by introducing the tracking and guiding. So is it magic? This 30% growth? It's pure common sense, pure logic. If teams are more organized, they will be more productive, right? If the managers are doing their jobs more effectively, tracking and guiding their teams in real time, then obviously the numbers will go up. If the customer experience is enhanced, then obviously the numbers go up. And most importantly, the organization can improve its entire approach with better insights on what's going on with the field, what's going on with your clients in real time. So, can you move on to the next slide? I would like you to ask yourselves some very, very important questions which have an immediate, direct, tangible value to your business. Are you able today to track all the client interactions that's going on between your teams and your clients? Are you tracking those? These are so valuable. You have to track them. Are your team leaders able to track and guide the teams? And are you able to measure that efficiently? This is the core aspect of your business. That's how you generate revenue. You do all the marketing activities, the digital marketing, the branding, and at the end of the day, you want to get your customers to actually close more deals with your organization. So are you able to track that? Are you able to measure that? And finally, I wanted to mention the famous quote from Peter Drucker that if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. We'll be very happy to talk to you. My name is Mirhan Mandour from Sales Arm. Thank you very much.